Yo, what's going on, guys? Versal here, and today I'll be doing a ban list discussion slash reaction video. I've seen the list already, so this isn't like blind or anything, but I just want to go over the bans and the limits, what I think it means for the upcoming format, the format when Rage of the Abyss comes out, and what it means for Dinos specifically moving forward, since I know it's what a lot of you guys are here for. So I'll just kind of talk about the bans and the limits and what I think about them, what I think was good and what I think they missed. Before I get into the video, if you're interested in this playmat or these sleeves or any other cool stuff, check out finalsaga.de, and if you decide to buy anything, use my code reversal10 for 10% off your order. Helps me directly. So with that being said, let's get straight into the band section. We got Lacrimosa, Appaloosa, Hot Red, King Calamity, and Beatrice. These are all good bands. I think the most disappointing part about this band section is not what is here, it's what is not here. I think they definitely needed to hit Sanctifier. Even though they did hit Branded in another way, I don't think it was the correct way to hit the deck. And then another one that should have been here is Snake Eye Ash, Poplar, or Flamberge. One of those needed to be here and none of them are here. So that's extremely disappointing. I wanted Snake Eyes to not even resemble playable in any way after this ban list, and that is unfortunately not the case. But we can talk about the ones that we did get. Lacrimosa, or Lacrima in the TCG. This was unexpected. I thought if they were going to hit a common related to Fiendsmith, it was going to be Mood of the Closed Sky, since any bodies being able to just bridge into Fiendsmith was like kind of the more toxic part. But I feel like they banned this mostly because of the burn effect on it, since a lot of people were winning in time with this card at the like national events that went on the last month. So I'm not mad they hit this. I think it's a good hit. I think Fiendsmith is still going to be good, especially in the Fiend decks. But in general, as a splashable engine, we'll see how good it is, because these three cards here were these are all like Fiendsmith cards essentially. In the non-Fiend decks, Beatrice is extremely important to bridging the Fiendsmith cards into their engine, and now they can't do that with this card band. And then Appaloosa was just the best thing to just put random bodies into to give you a few negates. And I'm not surprised they banned this, but since it was so close to Rarity 2, where they just gave this more rarities, there was like a chance they were going to hold off on banning it, but I'm glad they did the right thing and decided to ban it. And then Beatrice, this card should have been banned a long time ago, but I'm glad they, again, made the right decision and decided to at least ban it now. And then King Calamity, this card should have been banned a long time ago too, but with Centurion getting support soon, this was a good time to actually get rid of it, so I'm glad that they decided to do that. What these bans mean for Dinos specifically, these two mean that the Fiendsmith engine is no longer like consistency at all or viable in the deck. You could play like one Engraver to still end on the Desiree like mid combo, but it's probably not worth it, but it's something you still can do. Appaloosa doesn't affect the go in second version of the deck at all, or like the Xeno versions, but the Nemesis version played this card, so it hurts there at least. But I'll kind of talk more about how I feel about going first Dino in general when we get to the limited section. And this doesn't really matter for Dino. I mean, you could have made this in Dinos, but the combo was super fragile. But yeah, that's it for the bands. I mean, they're good bands, but there should have been more in that section. For the limits, there's a few cards I don't have, which are Eva. That card's probably not going to do anything since Beatrice is banned, but that card also doesn't promote anything positive, so I don't know why they bothered bringing it off. They banned two of the Gimmick Puppet XCs. I don't remember the names exactly. It's like Dark Strings, something, C90, whatever. I hope the FTK is not possible with both of those cards limited, but it might be, I'm not sure. But I'm glad they decided to hit the deck, even though it doesn't have like a ton of results. It's just a really toxic deck. And then the last card I don't have is that Grass Looks Greener. I feel like this card should have stayed banned. It's an extremely frustrating card, since you have to play 60 cards pretty much to use it, and then you have to open a 1 of in 60. And when you do, like, you're sacking your opponent, and then the card just mills like 20 plus cards and just does so much. I don't know how prevalent it's going to be in like the meta, but I think it's just a toxic card that shouldn't be legal. but we'll see. And the rest, we got Ash, Poplar, Brand of Fusion, Opening of the Spirit Gates, Pot of Prosperity, Sangan Summoning, and Skill Drain. So these two are Snake Eye Ash, Poplar. I'm glad they hit these at least to some degree, but just limiting these cards is not enough. Snake Eyes is still very much playable. It might just have to be in a different way than it's being played now, but I think like Fire King Snake Eyes currently is still going to be pretty good. I think after the next set comes out, when we get the Azamina cards, I think Azamina Snake Eyes is still crazy. Those cards just give you consistency and an Omni-Negate. So I think that's a big reason why they didn't want to kill Snake Eyes completely, is to one, sell the tins, since we still have Wanted, Diabell Star, Bonfire all coming in the tins. So it's not really surprising that they didn't want to kill it completely. It's just disappointing more than anything. It just shows that they want to push product more than they want the game to be healthy. But what else is new? So yeah, I was really hoping one of these, or both of them, was going to get banned, or Flamberge, but instead we get this. Brand of Fusion, Limited. I'm glad this happened. I wish it happened in addition to a Sanctifier ban though, since just limiting Brand of Fusion isn't enough. They don't need this card to resolve to Puppet Lock you, so I think this just makes the deck less consistent, but it's still doing the same toxic stuff it was doing before. Opening of the Spirit Gates, this was like the obvious Yubel hit. They were never going to hit Phantom of Yubel this early, since it's an expensive card in a set that has very little value outside of the Blue Eyes Quarter Century card. So they were never going to hit that, it's too new. They weren't going to hit Nightmare Throne. So this was really the only realistic ban or limit. And it definitely hurts the consistency of the deck and the resilience of the deck some, but it's not like the end of the world. So that deck really just lost Lacrima, Appaloosa, and then this got limited. Doesn't really matter a ton. It definitely matters some, but I still think Fiendsmith Yubel is probably the best deck after this list now. Then for the Tempai hits, we got Prosperity to 1 and Sangan Summoning to 1. Summoning is just a dumb card. It's pretty much Misk on crack. Like, this card shouldn't have ever been printed, but now it's at 1. I think they're just going to play like max copies of Thrust probably to go with the Terraforming so they could see it more. They might play Set Rotation and another field spell. But we see in the OCG, both these cards are limited, and the deck's still like pretty much the best deck over there. A lot of that has to do with Maxi and the new Maxi, Fuvaros. But I still think in the TCG, maybe not before Rage of the Abyss, but definitely after Rage of the Abyss, I think Tempai is going to be one of the best decks for sure. I still have 3 Shifter as well. And this Prosperity is the card in this section that matters for Dinos a lot. Unfortunately, this card was huge for Dinos ever since it came out. It's kind of been the glue that was holding the deck together. And then when Misk got limited, this card became even more important. So Dinos with 1 Misk and 1 Prosperity, especially going first, I think is borderline just unplayable now, as we were playing it before. There's a couple things you can do. You could play like the scrap version with Small World if you want to just have like no non-engine and just try to FTK your opponent every game. That's not something I personally ever want to do. I'd rather just not play the deck than do that, but it's something you can do if you want to just like put your tournaments on dice rolls. Another thing you can do is the Wanted package, which I'll talk more about that in the future, probably after the tins come out, because I'm not really in a rush to get those cards. But I will pick them up if I decide that I want to keep up with modern Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is another story for another day, but we'll see what the future holds with that. I'm not really too sure what I want to do personally, but we'll see. But yeah, Prosperity hurts a lot. Going second, it's like fine without it. We could just replace the 2 that we lost with like the Perulia for now. And then when Fuvaros comes out, I think Dino's blind second using that card can be pretty good as long as the format's not too toxic. But Dino going first into the new Maxi, aka Fuvaros, is pretty much unplayable. The deck can't play into that card at all. So I think going first Dino is cooked for the foreseeable future, but we'll see. Until that card comes out, I think we could play like the wanted stuff and it's like fine, but I think after Max C comes out, I'm not playing this deck going first anymore. And then last card is Skill Drain. This card should be banned with a bunch of other floodgates, but figured they were going to just limit it since they limited all the other floodgates, the main ones. It's better than it being at 3, but this card should not be legal at all. It's still toxic at 1. So yeah, that's all the bans and the limits. I mean, they were all good hits, but the part that's disappointing is what they missed, not really what they put on here. Because Shifter's still at 3. Protoss and Colossus are still legal. They even put Colossus to 2, which is irrelevant to like any non-Thunder Dragon deck, but yeah, the fact that those are still around is toxic. Sanctifier, so Brandon's gonna still be puppet locking you. Snake Eyes is still very playable and will be even more playable in the next month. So I don't know. I feel like the best decks before the ban list were Fiendsmith Snake Eyes by a mile, then Fiendsmith Yubel and Tenpai. After the ban list, I think Fiendsmith Yubel is probably the best deck. I think Tenpai, I don't know if it'll still be in the top 3 for now, but it'll be up there. It'll just be more sacky. And I think it will be good once the next set comes out. And then Snake Eyes is still going to be around. I'm just not sure exactly how they're going to play it. My gut tells me it's probably going to be Fire King until the next list, and then it'll be Yasmina Snake Eyes. But the most disappointing thing of this entire list, to go with the Prosperity limit, is another card that they did not hit. Let me go find it. Where is he? Why is this card still at 1? The deck is ass. Someone at Konami, let me know. Why? Why is Misc limited? You put Prosp to 1, so the deck is inconsistent as shit now. We still got 1 Misc. Why? Why you do this to me? I just want to know. Just want to have a conversation. What did I do to you? The Dino needs to get hit on every single ban list. Look at the last, like, 3 years. This deck's getting hit on every single ban list pretty much in some way. It's gotta stop. It's gotta stop. Just give us more Misc. We deserve it. We're suffering. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this little discussion, reaction, whatever. I'll give this ban list like a 3 out of 10, maybe 4 if I'm being generous, but I think this ban list definitely missed the mark, especially considering we had to wait 4.5 months for it. And we've been dealing with Snake Eyes being overwhelmingly dominant for over 6 months, so it's pretty disappointing that this is the list we got, but it is what it is. Just kind of have to deal with it and move on, or just don't play. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep playing or not, but we'll see in the next couple weeks. I might just play very casually and switch more towards Edison since I enjoy that format a lot more, so we'll make a decision in the next coming weeks, but for now, I don't know. The direction the game's headed is not a good one in my opinion, and this ban list didn't do enough to really make me happy, so we'll see. But until then, peace out. Thanks for watching.